Greetings, JD for Shieldrum Records. So welcome tonight for the part 2 of arrangement. So the idea, we had the part 1 already. The idea was to take some loops that have been made earlier and try to make a track out of it. So to do it, I get into two concepts. First, try to arrange the tracks. How can I say it? It's like we simulate an arrangement first, because dub is about mixing in real time. You can mix in real time some tracks when the loop never stops, and on the mixing desk you will choose when you stop one loop and when you put in one other loop. But there's a lot of things like crossfading, two or three instruments in the same group, or several techniques that we can do with only two hands on the desk. So this is why we can simulate a bit how a mix would go. That way we will choose how to treat each instrument to see if they need some EQing or saturation or things like that, etc., etc. So we get into that work. First, we export all the MIDI. Before it, we fix the MIDI files. And then we began the work and take a few ideas from the chat of that other day. So let me play it first, and then we will go into the second part of my list here. Okay, this is the several ideas I wrote after the session of the other day. Okay, so let's go to play it. That way you will hear where we are exactly. Okay, so greetings again. So this is where we were at on the last session. Okay, leave it like this. Okay, so a few ideas like the band pass at the intro was catch into the chat room with a person who passing by and suggested it. And as I was saying earlier, this is a work I started in another session. And I made a little list to be a bit organized this time to follow the track. So next, I wrote, listen again, this is what we did. Let's try to level up the track. So we will select a portion where we have most of the instruments. And we will do our balance from there. So to go quick, normally I think the balance is on its way already. But generally you will choose an anchor point. So it can be generally we will take the kick for some dance music or things like that. But it can be anything like the vocal or whatever you want. So let's take the kick and we will see and hear each other instrument compared to it. Let's say we will put that kick around -9. By the way, let's fix that reverb. We will send less kick to that reverb, less drum in general. This is a room verb, but it seems to be a bit too long. Okay. I removed the low frequency from the reverb. Okay, that's better now. So let's continue for the drum. Kick, snare, hi-hat. So of course this is a first balance, because when we will process some of the tracks, some EQing or compressor in some track, we will have to modify slightly. But this is always a good first step to try to get the best of it without any processing first. Let's continue by muting the rest. Set the bass. We can reduce a bit the cymbal and riser. it seems here we are in the ballpark, meaning we are close to what will be the end result. What you can do also is to set a L2 or something like that, where you can see the wave shape and where you can mesurate the dBUFS. Okay, that way we will see in this state how we can measure our master. And before it, as always, I set a clipper, a art clipper in my projects. And I try just to... In fact, I want it to clip just occasionally. It's just to eliminate some huge peak that could appear. Okay, let's try it. If I remove the clipper, you see it does nothing. We don't hear the difference a lot because there's plus 3 dB in and minus 3 dB out. Okay, so but I want to measure it full, sorry. So I will put it 100% wet and open a utility simply to drop a bit the level of the master after the limiter. So for the moment, quickly I measure something like minus 15, knowing that we can go up to minus 9. You see here, there's in this limiter the how can I say, the reference for CD. Okay, that's more clear. So that's the old reference for CD, minus 9 dB for the LUFS or RMS value, meaning long-term pressure and loudness. Okay, so it means that we can perfect a bit our balance to bring that number a bit up. Okay, let me explain quickly. Some call it, if I remember well, I don't remember the name, but it's a kind of, the concept is like a reverse mixing, meaning some engineer will set a limiter and the whole limiter chain, master chain with the limiter at the end. So sometimes there is a saturator, some compressor or EQ, whatever they want, brief. They set up the mastering chain and they start their mix from the bottom with this mastering chain on. Yes, they call it, by the way, the technique is from top to bottom process, okay? So that way they can measure the power of their mix and then adjust at the mixing stage instead of doing the mix one time and going into a limiter and things like that afterward, okay? Because if the mix is already compact, there will be less work for all this mastering chain, okay? So I don't do it completely like that, but the technique I would give you, it is when you are preparing your stems, because we are in dub music, so the stems will be useful to be mixed again and again as a multi-track, okay, with a desk and your effects. So the good idea is to prepare your mix as if you would like to mix it in the box. That way you can measure the LUFS of your whole mix. You can, yes, you can adjust to the maximum, the better. The addition of summation or addition of your stems, okay? And when everything is correct according to your test, then we don't care about that limiter, because what we will do is take each of those tracks or some group of tracks, and we will export our stems to be mixed live on an analog desk or a MIDI setup. Okay, so that's always a good idea to have to have an idea, a measurement of what is happening. Okay, so also in the project I added echo, a plate and a room, and these are to emulate the mixing stage, okay? Meaning that I will draw some curve, do some sends of the echo and things like that to see what it will give when I will do E3 and at the mixing stage when I mix the dub. But afterward, those tracks will not be exported, okay? These are just for test. And yes, so I think the final goal for that track will be to finish that mix in the box and get it exported as a mix in the box, and then bypass all the thing I don't need as effect sends, or perhaps sometime I have some insert effect I would like to remove because, for example, we have some filter movement on the percussion, and perhaps I want to do this filter movement with my own tool. Okay, but yeah, always good to simulate the situation and try many things when you are preparing your stems. Okay, and yes, it's more lively. So let's check the list now. So we did listen again. We level quickly our track. Then next step, process each track and bus if needed. Okay. So to process each track and bus if needed, yes, we'll come on the automation a bit later. We will stay on that same spot where we have all the instruments. First we will, why not, let me see that bass. No, we will leave that bass for the moment like this. And perhaps do a little process on it. Let's mute everything but drum and bass, and that way we will see what kind of frequency we have to remove from that bass or add. So, okay, we will split the work in two. Meaning, I will leave the bass like this here, duplicate that bass. That way we have the exact same chain and instrument. So inside of it, if you come just today on that tutorial, there is a mini V from Arturia for the bass. And I keep the Moog bass by default, and I modify it to have my sound. Okay. And now the second copy, we will call it drive. You already know the trick. And on that second track, we will work on the mids particularly. So I see that in the chain, we already have an EQ on the bass. Let's remove. Yes, you can use that one. So what I will do is bring back the eye, forget all the sub-frequencies. Not all, but a big part of them. Okay, let me see, where is that? Okay. We'll do it like that. Addition with the real bass. So we will keep it discreet for now. Because the problem with the drive bass is if you put too much of it, it will eat up the frequency space of the other instrument. So it's really to add a little buzz to your original sub, okay? But here also our sub got a little of other frequency here, as you can see. So your goal, if you want to have a bass you can listen on several speakers, keep a bit of those frequencies, okay? And what you will have to remove will depend on what other instrument will have to play in this region. If it don't disturb your other instrument, leave the most of it. That way it will translate everywhere. Greetings, Liberty Steps on System. Much love. So in the context of the dub mix, we will surely process this drive section of the bass. So I will not add a reverb on it, but we will add some drive, by the way. So let's see what kind of drive we could add. Do we go simple or let's go simple? I will find something. So you take your best drive, the one you like the most. For the example today, I will take simply the overdrive from Ableton, and we will work around that. Or something more hardcore, the raw. So let's go for a more drastic drive. Solo bass and mid bass, and try to find the sounds that go well with your sub. And let's make a decision. For example, we will say we send everything in tube preamp. Okay, so I can tune it multi-band. We don't need that much of the high frequency, so around 5 it's okay, it's already a lot. And you see, by the way, with the raw, by default apparently it output as a multi-band distortion. So remember and recall that we remove some bass frequencies from the copy of the bass, okay? We remove most of the sub-frequencies, but we still have some, because when we cut at 24 dB per octave, it means that in this area we still have the sound, but minus 24, okay? Meaning that when we will drive the low, we will still have some signal, Okay, and let's set it as a tube preamp also. So to know what you are doing in this, just think about it as an EQ with 3 bands, okay? And you can choose to not overlap each of the frequencies. So for example, if my mid will stop at 200, I will start my lows at 200. Okay, and to go quick first, select the same algorithm. Here I choose tube preamp, but select the same in each band. That way you can discover exactly what it do on each band. And later on you will try another type of saturation and you know what to do. So let's tune it. Okay, so we will do like that and reduce the output level. Okay, and as you will hear, only this track will be enough to send, for example, some echo or some played verb. I only have those 2 effects here, so we will try with that. And that's a good way also to tune it a bit when you hear the reverb. You hear the sound longer so you can make a better decision. In the echo. Okay, that room verb. Okay, it works. And you'll see if you get this drive of your bass, this is something interesting to process with some phasing, flange, chorus. Okay, so let's keep it like that for the moment. Let's going forward. Greetings, Pat Kelly, big up. So little tricks on bass and drive. Let's go on the kick now. For me, it's already sound correct for the moment. So what information I can give? It's not all informations, but what can be useful, the essential. So generally you will try to have a good body here and also hear your attack here, okay? So for me it was already okay, but let's try it with a bit of that attack. We will hear with and without. And if you are afraid to EQ in the positive way, the tips I have for you is don't be afraid, just crank it up. Or I know when it can be too much. Let me explain quickly. So I listen to my sound, my kick, okay? And we can see that it hit -9, And we can see in the spectrum analyzer that most of the energy is in the low frequency, okay? So what I can do is to bring up the frequency I need, and I will look at it. I will look at the, how can I will say that? The view meter. Okay, I will look at the view meter and take care of it staying under the same. Let me explain more clearly. So in my EQ, the kick is hitting -6, meaning I can add some frequency everywhere else, but not crossing -6. Okay, let's try. Just, okay, -6.6, and it was at -6.8. If I go above 10 dB, we'll go, and you hear directly that there's too much. So the maximum hitting is try to add some frequency or remove, but stay at the same level, at the original level, because the whole part of the kick is there. Okay. So it's just a small move, but it will make it more clear in the mix. Let's leave it like this for the moment and continue. If it's too much, we will come back here. Let's focus on hi-hat now. So every time go from solo to full, but most of the time stay on mixing in situation, meaning not in solo. That's the best way to see how sounds react to others, okay? And that's what we need at the end. A good result, all of them together. So don't go too much detail in sound by sound, because normally the original sample you choose or original track is already a good sounding thing. So don't be tricked by this room verb. By the way, we will remove some high frequency in this. First of all, when you see things like that, it means that it already got a low cut high pass thing. Let's remove this room verb for the moment. So let me solo. Here, as you hear, it seems okay, but I find it a bit thin. Even if it resonates long, it have a long decay, it's like a bit thin. So I want to add some of this here. Greetings, Henry, Irie. So another thing you can do with your hi-hat, this is what I was hearing. As you see here, there's a good intention in the hi-hat, but we don't see no accent. What make the accent, it's because sometimes we have some ratchet of notes, which seems to sound lower in level, but all the rest is like at the same level. Okay, so what we will start to do also is add some accent. I didn't go into those detail before because I didn't need it in bass or kick, but we will see it here. So generally in reggae beats and dub, because dub is like extension of reggae, we will accentuate the half beat or the eighth note, the place where the skank piano will hit. Okay. So as you can see, the skank piano is here. So we will have to accentuate each eighth note, okay? You have many ways to do it. You can do it by hand here, by making a volume automation in Ableton. But for today, let's go quick and you can drop a shaper in it, even if it's not a shaper box, but if you have a similar plugin, something, let me remove the compressor. Okay, something like that with a volume curve. Okay, and I will reduce the window and okay. So let's start at the beginning of a measure. So for the sake of visualization, we can add the skunk as a sidechain input into this plugin. That way we see where it is in the measure, okay? Okay, now I know it's around here. So what I will do is drop back the level around there and at some point here. Okay. And if we need more accentuation, we will drop back a bit more the level. And now we see it's a bit too much, so let's do like that. And of course, the first time of the measure is always accentuated also, but a bit less. It will be accentuated because the drummer knows that it's the time one, so unconsciously he will make it a bit louder. So we will make it louder, but not as loud as the eighth note. And this is what will bring some groove when you play just your drum and bass without the piano. So what I hear also is that we can drive it a bit with some kind of noise. So if you want to keep your accent, you can drive it before the volume shaper. So for that, you can take also the overdrive from Ableton. Okay, so this is with, and I bypass without. Okay, and I think I will set the EQ after, because it brings a lot of low frequency too, due to the distortion. Okay, so before and after. If I remove the shaper box, you see that all this part disappear. Okay, we're done now. We will keep it straight also without effects. can hear in the drum now, you can hear there's really a louder hit on the 8th note. Listen well with the hi-hat. If I remove my chain, all hits are loud. Okay, here. And I can even bring it a bit up now. Yes. Okay, this one I find it a bit weak also. So let's try something. We will take the shaper box we did for the hi-hat. So it's just a bit of saturation. And we will remove the volume shaper. Let's explore different algorithms. Okay. Take that one. Full band. So the high pass is not an obligation. We can also, if we want to keep some power in it, just with a low shelf, it will do the tricks. Okay, yes, it sounds more full. Let's try it on the effects. Okay. So as I was saying earlier, let's try this in the echo without this process and in the echo with the process. That way you'll understand why you have to punch up a bit your sound if the original sample don't fit exactly to the style you do. Okay, and with, I'll drop a bit the level. So I will leave it open and switch off the plugin. Okay. So we have more definition even if when we go into the effects. So I know that riser and cymbals, I thought they needed a bit of low frequencies. By the way, there's a lot of it. Let's not add on the cymbal, but on the riser. Okay, let's go on the percussion now. So as we can hear, it appear like let's dance that than the kick. So first what I will do, I will take one of my plugin. Let me find this in the easy, where, inside this, perhaps. No, let's go into the racks. Okay, easy racks, easy effects. So in the easy effects rack, release from Shieldrum Records, you have something called attack drive. Okay. So attack drive is simply the drive from Ableton, the overdrive, with some shortcuts I made and some presets. Let's focus on bongo first. Okay, so I want to do that. I will also reduce a bit its stereo. So simply with utility. Okay, and let's copy that. On the congas. So congas need less drive in the lows. With the drums. We could add some EQ too, but sounding wise, I think it's okay. Don't cover no drum elements. For the snare, the same. I just hear I need a bit of high frequency in it. Not too much. So let me make a little pause. The idea also is always to remember that less is more, okay? If you see in your progression that you don't need to add anything, don't add anything. Sometimes you don't need a compressor. Sometimes you even don't need the EQ because it just works, okay? So I would say really not the only tool, but the main tool for placement is the EQ on my side. I mean, in my point of view, because the main thing in mixing is the level between the track, the balance. Okay, EQ is like a level, but you can level different portion of frequencies. Okay, so all about levels. Compression or saturation. Saturation when you need more body and density, or more bites, meaning more precision in the high frequency. I would go first to saturation, soft clip, things like that, to get my right ratio between peaks and the body of the sound. Okay, and compressor is not my last option, but it's really if it's needed. So let's go forward. We got the percussion. I hit up a bit the snare, but I don't want to touch it too much because it sounds good for me like that. The teeny snare perhaps will need low frequency removal. Just a little, not too much. Okay, let's go on the piano. Okay, it seems okay too, perhaps. Removing a bit of the low mids, but not too much, because if the piano, in example where the skunk is done by only one instrument, like the piano, we need its body also. It's better to shorten the skunk than removing low frequencies. Okay. So what I would do if I've got only a skunk, I would do something to exaggerate the attack and simulate a kind of guitar. So I do it with my favorite tool, but you can do the same concept. The idea is to add something at the attack, a drive at the attack, okay? And as we can hear, this piano already have been processed with a kind of reverb. So let's say we find this too much. First, you will use a volume envelope, no matter which one you will use. Set it to have one skunk per page. we will trigger it by audio also. So quickly I add some detail. It's not drum general, and the trigger shift I bring it a bit earlier, and that way you see it here that the trigger is in front of the piano. Okay, so let's say we find this piano too long, we'll just drop this like that. Now it is too short. It is too short, but in my head I know that I will need it as dry because I will send some effect later in my dub. Okay, a bit too dry, so just a little. Okay, now for the attack, what you will do, you have many solutions. Let's hit the last one I discover. So with the pitch effect, you will just draw. So what I'm showing in this plugin, you can do it also with the Ableton tool, taking the pitch shifter from Ableton, okay, and then you draw an automation or send a shaper from Ableton to its pitch effect, okay. It's more easy for me to explain everything in that same window. Okay, so let's go back to it. So what I will do, I will add an octave of that same song at the attack. Okay, let's say this wide. Okay, I know the octaves 12 semitone are here. So it's weird first, but just wait. Perhaps it is too long. Okay. So without it. Okay, so you have a quick little guitar attack on it. Greetings, DH logo, greetings. We can try to set it before the volume. Okay, and also for the volume, I will not reduce it too much here. That way we keep the whole body of the piano. Okay, so this is a first technique to add a virtual attack to a piano. And this thing works in most of the cases, okay? And if you have an old piano, like electric piano sound with really no attack at all, this will work. But if the pitch is not enough, you have another technique, is to take a drive. So as I said, you can take a drive in your own DAW, or the one from Ableton, and find a way to automate the attack of that drive, okay? So here the concept will be to choose the audio envelope, okay? Audio envelope that I set already for the volume shaper earlier. So now we have this, we will do a bit the same strategy, meaning adding a drive just at the beginning of that piano. And we can take the smooth clip. It roars a bit more. Talking about roar, this would work perfectly in the plugin roar. Okay. So this technique works, but as you can see, I will zoom out. It don't work when I zoom out, but it cut down my level also, my volume. Okay, when you do this with the pitch, it don't reduce the level of your attack. So for this, I will just drive it. You can also work with an envelope follower. This is why I was talking about roar from Ableton, because you can put an envelope follower to trigger your saturation. Okay, but it's far too much here. Okay, but in this case, I don't want that. I will just draw something. Not too much. Raw Ableton stock plugin, exactly. Yes, yes. We will double check in a minute. So apparently the two at the same time is not a great idea. So let's go back to a simple soft clip. And add a very little of it. Oh, good things to know. When we don't saturate the eye, it's proper. Here it's too much artificial. Okay, here it's better. Without full weight. Okay, for me, that's correct. So I will not add some phasing or other modulation because I keep those moves for the next step of the mix. In another tutorial, perhaps I will film this mixing those themes in the studio. So we will leave it like that and bypass. And we will see in RAW if we can have a similar result. But in RAW, we don't have the pitch effect. Not a big problem. But let's open RAW a minute for the saturation side. Okay, this is RAW, and we have the modulation section here. And in the modulation section, we have one LFO, two LFO, and the envelope follower here. Okay, so let's try something. Okay, so I'm in envelope follower mode, and I'm listening it on bypass. That way I can tune the envelope I want for my drive. So let's say I want less of that. So if you want it shorter, you will choose a higher threshold. That way it will capture only the peak. So this can be something like that, a bit more release, not too much. Okay, we can also focus. In fact, frequency and width is the EQ of the sidechain signal. Okay, the envelope will recognize the signal coming before RAW. Okay, and frequency and width of that frequency will choose into the signal which frequency will generate the envelope. If I keep it default and full, you see that, let's set everything normal. Okay, the envelope covers the whole sound of the piano. But if I start to play with those frequencies, like this will be shorter. We'll hear it because we are in listening mode. Okay, so this can be good to reduce the frequency band of which will trigger the envelope. Okay, then I go back to my higher. Okay, so now I guess we have to go into the matrix, and we will choose into the matrix to where we want to send that envelope. Okay, so let's choose where we want it. Let's see if we have something a bit hard. Diode clipper. We will choose this. Okay, now I know which one I want. I will set the amount to 0 and see in the matrix if I can assign shaper 3 amount. Okay. This is what they call the shaper, in fact, the algorithm. Okay. So let's send our envelope in. Bypassed and on. Let's select another. Okay, can we accentuate? No, I sent already. Okay. And I hear that. No, it's just because of the loop. Okay. Sorry. So. We don't have the same result, but this is how I would go for triggering an envelope from the signal with the roar. Far deeper than any other saturation. Let's go back to our shaper box. And I will set the 2, so let's come back to something more soft. Like this, remove this envelope. And I will set it full band. or 2 band. Only 2 band. Okay, and on the first band, let's put it as a high pass. Okay, so I will leave the two. So with and without. And we didn't open no compressor yet. Okay, and I will set, as always, my EQ after. Always when you saturate, you will need to EQ. Okay, perhaps it's a bit too hardcore, but I will leave it like that for the moment. It was a bit long at that piano, but that way we add the time to get into some function of raw. But as you see, it's quite easy. We can even open it in widescreen. No, really great. So let's go on. Okay, the marimba track now. Let's go here. Cool. By the way, as some of you are in the chat room, don't hesitate if you have any question or something you'd like to know how to do. As I'm live, I can take 5 minutes to explain. So we are on the marimba now. Okay, we didn't test the piano into the effect, but I guess it will work well. Okay, by the way, I think I will bounce that piano in this shape. A bit less drive on it. Okay, just 1 second for that. So of course it will also bounce my filter from the beginning, but this is not a big problem because if I need to replace this later, I will just have to take a loop here, for example, and copy paste it. So let's bounce it to save some CPU for the rest. So bounce track in place, let's go. So I take a minute to tell you also that you can find some tools and some information on my Patreon. So this is Shieldrum Record Patreon. For example, last week I did a tutorial about Pitch Shaper, the plugin I was working with earlier. And I made a project file to make this tutorial, okay? And this project file is available for free on Patreon. You just have to subscribe for free at Shieldrum Records Patreon, and you'll find also all other rewards available for free subscription on it. And yes, so Shieldrum Records Patreon. And to explain quick what is this project file coming with this tutorial. This was a tutorial where I use the pitch shaper in a lot of tracks, okay? And so I set some drum racks with pitch shaper in it. Some effect racks, sorry. And there's some presets from me and some shortcut. And also routing for dub delay feedbacking into Ableton, and yes, several tracks with several effects. So it's empty, there's no audio in it, but you can get the project and do your own things with that. So Patreon, Shieldrum Record. There's this thing for free, some other thing for free, and some other a lot of other projects or effects or sounds when you go on the paid subscription. So let's go back to our marimba now. So I wanted to save CPU because simply I want to add an octave directly to those marimba. Okay. Nothing fancy. So without and with. Okay, quickly for the example, if I was working only with Ableton stock plugin, I would take the pitch. Oh, by the way, let's use my own tools. Okay, so on Patreon and also on Gumroad. So on Patreon, these are rewards, and on Gumroad you can buy this. And one thing I out at the beginning of this year is something called Easy FX. Okay. So I must have the shortcut somewhere here. Yes, EasyFX. So you can find EasyFX on subscription on Patreon, or you can buy it. It's something like $15. And these are a collection of effect racks I made. Okay. Let me explain this quickly. There's an echo. There's a delta comp. Easy effect. You can hear the delta signal from your comp. Sidechain gate, and for the other effects, these are effects that is simplified into a rack. For example, we have in the same effect chorus, flanger, and phaser in Ableton. Okay, so for example, if I needed a phaser, I rack this effect here, phaser flanger from Ableton, but I choose only the shortcut I need for the phaser, and I made a lot of presets. So for each of those 15 EasyFX rack, there's some presets. Perhaps not in the utility tool, but yeah. So let's use our EasyFX rack for pitch. So the secret is pitch is called I don't know the original name because I renamed it, but perhaps it's shifter. And in this, we can have pitch, frequency shifter, or ring modulator. This one is for pitch. Okay. So if I need something, I would say a fifth above, a fifth with some stereo, and my octave below. And I will set my dry wet. Okay, so if you don't have also the easy effect or you are in another DAW, simply a pitch shifter, parallel routing, 30%, -12. And if we want to have fun, we can also add an octave above on the first. So we bring some harmonies, okay? We could bring the fifths also, 7th semitone above. With the fifths, you never go wrong, no, whether you are in minor or major. But I want it on octave. And we can hear that for some reasons, the pitch shifter from Ableton sound differently than the shaper box. Shaper box is more tight. It's some new algorithm they made. All of these are proprietary algorithm. They invented it for this plugin. Sounds very great. So just for the vibe, we will leave the two. This one is more phantomatic. Okay, and less of that, and let's try this like this. As the shaper box is more tight in its shifting, we will set octave above from the Ableton one and octave below from shaper box. Just a little. So what is interesting in putting two shifters in series, it's that the second shaper will have to process the original sound plus its first addition, here an octave above, okay? So here it will process those two sounds and bring an octave below of those two sound mix at this dry wet ratio, okay? So it's an interesting technique also. So something else we can do, as I said, I explained in this plugin, but you get the idea and you do it with your own. So what I note, process each track. Okay, we are still in this step, and here I wrote autopan some track, increase width on some tails, etc. So let's add some movement on this. So if there's anyone in the chat room, just tell me which DAW you work on. So we have the possibility of doing those movements into shaper box, but for the autopan, we will choose to do it. Yes, great, Ableton. So I never tried it yet, but there's a new tremolo and autopan effect. I know well the original one, which is Legacy one now, autopan, but let's try this new autopan tremolo. Okay. So as I want my width plugin to be after my pan, we will do it like that, like it. The width in the shaper box and the shaper box after the autopan tremolo. I do microtonal music in Ableton. Ableton is the base. Yes. Wow. Honestly, I don't know yet about microtonal music, but I know since 12 there's a lot of option available for it. And like retuning, I even removed the shortcut of it here, but there's a whole bank for tuning. Yes, let me switch it on. Perhaps later I will have a look on it. Yeah. I will have a look on the web precisely what is microtonal. Is it something like you utilize scales that are different, of course, of the chromatic scale, but the difference between each note is smaller? The interval between each note is smaller in microtonal music? Okay, so I was thinking about things. Let's go simple because I was thinking about setting one of the octave panning in a movement and the other octave panning in another movement. But yeah, we will see this later. Let's go straight into this autopan. So I want it to be synced. Okay. Let's make it slower. Okay, classic autopan, and I guess if we do it in tremolo, it gets on the level, on the volume. So what I will do is going simple at a slow rate, something like that, and less. Okay, because what I had in head first was to use the shaper box pan. Okay, yes, that's a basic idea of microtonal music. Specifically focus on Ethiopian microtonal music, okay, and I try to bring indigenous influence into the modern Do environment. Very great, very great. Yes, definitely I will have to check out microtonal music. I did know that Indian music is in quart de ton, nous disons en français, so a fourth of a semitone in a chromatic scale. Okay. So let's go continue. And that's right that modern DAW environment can be too much modern or robotic. This can be a choice. But yeah, we have all the tools to make it live. And for me now, it's like there's no difference uh, between what we was working with before and now. Okay. And even now it's better because we can do a lot of things. Um, but yeah, perhaps 20 years ago it was sounding a bit straight for the common people, but nowadays, no, that's crazy. That's crazy. So let's go back into the idea here. So my idea here is to make move the marimba on specific hits into the stereo space. So of course it's already moving because I set a slow autopan on it. Okay, so let's draw, not randomly, but something like that. So this could be something like that. What I will do, I will smooth that curve instead of removing all nodes, etc. And what we can do perhaps is open all this. Okay, so this is my first move, and after it, of course, not that wide. Just a random idea to bring some idea. And after that, what I love to do is to increase the stereo width at the end of the phrases. So as my phrase don't start on time 1, the start of the phrase is here. So I can set it like this, okay? Here, this is the start of the melody and the end. Not the melody, but one riff of the melody, one measure. So in my idea, I would not do that on every instrument. I would choose one of them when I want to increase this. That way, we hear it well. Perhaps we can add another instrument which increase in width and with some pans with complementary curves. This can be an idea also. What else I wanted to do here? Now let's try to increase the initial autopan. Increase the speed. That way we populate the stereo field with some signal. It's funny, bring a kind of reverb also. Okay, let's see with the rest. Okay, let's hear it alone and bypass the effects to see if we are in a good direction. Without, with, yes, so as you can hear, that's crazy what a single monophonic melody can bring. Okay. I'm thinking about the microtonal subject also, and what idea I got here. We will try it on the string. Perhaps you'll love it also. So let's go on the string directly. We will go back on the brass for the last instrument. Yes, so the idea I get from the subject of microtonal music, I was thinking of that pitch shaper. And as in pitch shaper, we can draw some curves of pitch. So it will not be microtonal objectively because the grid behind is in semitone. We can remove the little magnet and we can draw things in between semitone. Okay, so apparently I try to see. Okay, so here we can be precise at 1/10 of semitone. Okay, 1/10. Because it's 0, 0.1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and we go on 1. Okay, but yeah, let's come back to my subject. I will stay in chromatic mode, and we will try to draw something to modulate that string from time to time. Okay. So to give an idea, a quick idea, we can take one of the original curve. So here, the preset, we have only, we have the 0 level here, 1 octave. So it just works with octaves. Okay, listen. And we have some other who go on the fifths also. No, this one also only octaves. Still only octaves. Here we have some fifths. So yeah, the idea was to try to build a short pattern and try to fit the scale used. And as I don't remember the scale now, I could find it quick, but we will stay for the fifths and octaves for now. And I will save this. Yeah. So it will not stay all way long during the track, but my idea was to work with those kind of pattern here to add some variation because the string is always the same. Its role was to be a pad, but by some animation like this, we can make it another instrument. So let's go back on string. So a good combination inside this plugin or outside is to add a volume LFO too. So let's stay simple. So I set it a bit in random. Let's make it run quicker. Okay. And let's make something clean. Okay. Go out of time here and get back on time here. So let's find another pattern we could add. We will duplicate this, slow down. Slow down. So perhaps you can try something like that for the last. So what is happening when I add some smoothing in the process? It starts to do some round curves, okay? And in this plugin, with this effect, so let me set it back, we will draw another one. So if we use the pitch effect and the time effect, when we draw some curves, the sound will react differently. Let me show you quickly. We can do that. Remove this. Okay, it will do things like that. So it's just for the demonstration. Let's go back to original idea. And I will try to find that scale. Let's look at the bass line with the tuner. Yes, more life to the signal. So I see a lot of G sharp, so we are not in G. Okay. To go quicker, as I don't want to lose too much time, we will work on this idea, but only with fifths and octaves. So our first was that, and we can do that funny too. Okay, like that is okay. So when you want to replace one safe in the one preset in the wave palette, you hit the cross and you hit it again. Okay. For the next, keep the same length. Let's try octave until here. Fifths, normal, or directly minus fifths and minus octave, or the opposite, minus octave and minus fifths. Okay, I don't hit the original sound because I work it in dry wet mode. Okay, so full wet is like that. So I also got to not forget that the end of my melody is here. And we can go through the fifths here again. And here we come back here. Okay, we have the loop. Fifths, 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 okay. Now mix with the original signal. Don't work well at each time, but we will stay simple. Yes. Yeah. Yes, I like it like that. And if we want to go even more deep into the space way, we can use the low band. And in the low band, so first let me save this shape. And in the low band, I will bring that one. Okay, so this affects the lows. So let's tune it. And my idea is to, because I will take only low frequency until 200, for example. So I want all this shape to do the same thing, but 1 octave above. Okay. My idea behind this is to take only the low frequencies of the signal and make it play some higher notes to bring some, even if there's kind of artifacts in it, that's good for me because I want some texture into this simple string sound. So let's bring everything at the next octave. Okay, and now let's work the dry wet. We will set same dry wet as the other one. $90. And we can dry wet the wool effect. Okay, let's continue to shape this. Why not some lo-fi vibes? Beat crusher. Let's be wise with this. Just some noise in it. And a huge reverb. And we can remove that one. Okay, we will stay like this. The reverb. Let's try the beat crusher before the pitch. So this effect on the bass, I will keep it very low. It has to be subliminal. Okay, now I can drop that level. Last thing we can do on this, as I'm on those kind of things recently, is to add this trick of widening the signal all along the melody. Okay, and as I loved the tremolo effect, discrete tremolo effect, I will try it on this also. You hear that it adds as it the string man was playing some drills. So here we have an example of, depending of the instrument and the timbre of the instrument, even a simple tremolo will sound different. On the marimba, it adds more something like a chorus. Let's listen quickly this marimba part. Okay, and the same tuning, around the same tuning of the tremolo and string, give us some drills. Okay, we are done for it. Okay, let's listen to that brass. How many time? 1 hour? Oh, 2 hours now. Okay. Wow, I guess we will have a part 3 because I'm going on and don't see the time pass. Okay, something quick for the brass. Yes, I will finish for 5-10 minutes more because later tonight I will be on. I must log on TikTok and make a live mix on the desk with some other rhythm I already done. So if you want to see some live dub mixing tonight, it will be in half an hour on TikTok, GDI Elements. So of course for the brass, as I don't want to replay some, I will first add an octave directly. Brass. To make it more dramatic first. Yes, something like that. Less of the lows, a bit of EQ. So it seems that I need to bounce some of the why. No, there's not that much things. So before it was like that, and now ons love saturation or drive. So let's go on raw one more time. And perhaps we can use the envelope. And what we can move with that envelope, why not the frequency of the filter? Okay, a high pass. Let's go back to a single one. Yes. So here what is happening? The envelope of the horn itself is sent to the frequency cutoff in a negative envelope. Okay. So that's why I go a bit up in the frequency and it is modulated by itself. Okay, of course we can fine-tune this, but it is to have the idea, and perhaps we can round a bit the envelope. Okay, and I will work with the dry wet. So this is another example that when you add some harmonics and some thickness in the sound, some density, of course it will react differently in the effect. Without effect, on the insert of the brass, I try to send on the reverb and echo. It's like a bit dull. That's okay, but it's a bit dull. So let's switch on and try the test. We are more efficient here. Okay. Okay, I wanted to bounce that, but I will not do it now. I remove the marimba when the string are playing. Okay, like this. And I think that's all for tonight. I will play it last time from beginning to end for the outro. And I guess I will come in a next one about arrangement because there's so much possibilities. The idea here is to, even if we want to mix it on a desk or MIDI controller live, it's a good idea to get on the tools of your DAW and animate and add density or animate via the autopan or every other instrument, but make all your stems do something even before the dub. And when you come at the dub stage, it's like you had R2D2, a robot who do everything for you at the same time when you are focused on mixing, aka running your levels as a conductor, a music conductor, sending your reverb or phasing or delays. Okay, but we are in 2025, so yes, I really think that an hybrid kind of work is very great. More and more since a few years now, I use as much as Ableton in live via the controller as the analog gear. The two complete very well. Okay, so I will come again. Let's double check quickly the list where we go into that list. So we didn't do drum break and ear candy. Try all kind of effects. Yes, we can stay on that same project for the next time and take it back here. So today we saw the levels and the process of each track, giving some idea in how to process it in each track. So I will press play and balance it along the play. This is the outro. Yes, get subscribe here on YouTube if you want to see more and be warned when I'm go live. But I guess this will be on the Wednesday night for now. So let's say we meet again on next Wednesday around 10 to 1. Give thanks. And we hear that sounds are more tough.